Thank you, Ravi, for the introduction, and thank you very much for inviting me here. It's a great pleasure to be here with you and tell you about the work we are doing in Google to make our users healthier and safer. Just because I work for Google, I have to put a couple of disclaimers. The opinions in this talk will be solely mine, the mistakes will be mine, and the technologies I might mention might or might not be in actual use. We've been working on health search for a couple of years now, and we've been launching different tools on Google Search to help users find answers to their health concerns. The latest addition to this family is Symptom Search, which we launched in the middle of last year. Symptom Search allows users to come to Google and issue queries with their symptoms, and when we recognize the symptoms in the query, we show this horizontal carousel of conditions, which are the medical conditions we believe to be appropriate for their presentation of symptoms. The addition of Symptom Search essentially closes the loop of the users going to Google with a variety of health concerns, because they can come to Google, search for symptoms, and get an offering of a set of conditions which might be appropriate. They can choose one of the conditions, and they will click on it and get what we see, what we call a knowledge panel. A structured presentation of their condition will show them a nice picture. We show them some prevalence information and breakdown over ages and genders, and we'll have ways to recognize this condition, a list of symptoms, and we'll have a list of treatments. You can click on the list of treatments and further learn about the condition you might have and how to treat it. Symptom Search today is operational in the United States in the English language, and in Brazil, as of last month, it's operational in the Portuguese language. If you want to try it, please try it on your mobile devices. Phone or tablet doesn't work on desktop, but it does work on mobile devices. In the rest of this talk, I'll primarily focus on Symptom Search, and I'll be telling you what challenges we face in health search, how we overcome those challenges. But before that, let me tell you a story. And it will be a story about a patient who was discharged from a hospital after foot surgery. And he had pain for a while, and his wife decided to drag him to a doctor. Now, he was kind of a stoic type, he didn't complain much, and the doctor looked at him and said, "You're fine, go home." And his wife was still concerned. They leave the doctor's office. Before they go away, his wife pulls a cell phone from her purse and does this very search. Calf pain after foot surgery, essentially describing what the patient had, what her husband had. And we show a carousel of conditions. We show a horizontal list of 5 conditions. 3 of them were different variants of blood clot. And blood clot is a serious thing. You can lose your leg, you can lose your life, you better not have it. She drags her husband back to the doctor's office and says, "Hey, see what Dr. Google thinks my husband has." And you can imagine what the doctor said. "Well, who are you and you're using doctor?" What? But he was smart enough to look at the patient again. He prescribed some tests, and long story short, it was a blood clot. The moment I learned about this story, it made my day, it made my year. We are saving lives. So in the rest of the talk, I'll see how we are developing tools which can catch what the attending physician has missed. Let me first tell you a bit more about health search in general. Of all the queries which hit Google every nanosecond, 5% are health related. 5% of the entire Google query volume is a big number. 5% is health. Let's see how it breaks down. So we have wellness queries. How do I become healthier? We have news-related and fitness-related and navigational queries. How do I get to Good Samaritan Hospital, a hospital here in Los Gatos where my kids were born. Now we focus on medical queries, which include conditions, symptoms, and treatments. We define medical queries as those you would normally consult an MD about. Within those, we look at symptom queries. Users are formulating their symptoms, not just any symptoms, but those where users are seeking for conditions. We call them condition-seeking intent queries. And this example, cough, fever, and fatigue, I have the symptoms, what do they mean? Or what might I have is a typical query we want to answer in symptom search. So why symptom search is hard? It's hard for a variety of reasons. First, there is a lexical mismatch. I have 2 kids. My older son is 9 years old. He used to have a lot of nosebleeds. And one day I decided to take him to the doctor. I say, "Hey, Dr. Lee, my son has nosebleeds." The doctor didn't write in the medical record nosebleeds. He wrote epistaxis. We complain about difficult breathing, and doctors write dyspnea. We talk about skin reddening, and doctors write erythema. And there is a great divide between what users are talking about, or what patients are talking about, and what doctors manipulate in their everyday life. Okay? It is this plurality of ways users refer to their symptoms that we have to use machine learning. Users can formulate their symptoms in unpredictable ways. We cannot anticipate them ahead of time. There are just too many of them. And that's why we use machine learning, and we are in the machine learning business and not in the lexical lookup business. We just cannot anticipate things like, yellow dot in my eye, or my all-time favorite, longish reddish spots on my inner upper arm. What it is. There is no concept in the knowledge graph to describe this particular illness or constellation of symptoms. And finally, there is user intent behind those queries, and it's very elusive and difficult to figure out. For example, weight loss. Is it a query about how to lose weight, or is it a symptom which could be a precursor of a disease, or is it a side effect of a drug I've taken before? That's what makes symptom search difficult. And let me give you a brief overview of how symptom search works. It starts with a query, and the query is about to hit Google search, and in the case when the query contains symptoms, we want to recognize this, and we want to produce a list of conditions the user might have. So we use a two-pronged approach. First, we take the user query, and we send it to Google search, because anyway we have to search search results. And Google search works pretty darn well. In information retrieval, it's called the pseudo-relevance feedback assumption. We assume the top results to be relevant, and we use them to better understand the query. We extract conditions mentioned in the top search results. The second approach we use is we go to the health knowledge graph, which is a portion of the knowledge graph we build to represent the health domain. It covers conditions, symptoms, and treatments, and multiple relations between them. We curated it to be very high quality with actual doctors. We consult the knowledge graph. For every symptom we recognize in the query, we fetch an additional bunch of conditions from the knowledge graph. We have the conditions from the knowledge graph. We have the conditions from the top search results. We merge them together. We go again to the knowledge graph here to extract additional information about each condition, such as prevalence and breakdown by genders, where those conditions are more likely to occur. We fetch all those additional characteristics as features, and we build a machine learning ranking model to order the conditions in the decreasing order of their likelihood. And that's what we show. And let me briefly explain why we rely on search results to interpret the query. So let me give you a short example. The query I have here is 155.90. Any idea what this might mean? Blood pressure? Any other ideas? Zip code? What else? Cholesterol. And you can continue this list, right? If we're talking about health, it's probably about blood pressure. And indeed, if you look at Google search results, all top search results are about the blood pressure interpretation of this query. It doesn't have to be this way. 155.90 could be a car's tire size. It could be a cell phone case. Or this is my all-time favorite. I'm sorry. And this is the AS-90 artillery system for the 90s with a 155 millimeters gun caliber. There are multiple interpretations for this query, yet users led us to believe with their clicks that it is the blood pressure interpretation that is dominant. And later I'll be talking about cyberchondria, and I'll talk about why it might be detrimental to sometimes learn from user queries. So that's why relying on search results is very useful. Let's see why it is useful to rely on the knowledge graph. So here's a small excerpt from the knowledge graph. It has multiple kinds of entities. It has conditions and symptoms and treatments. It connects them all in a single network with multiple kinds of relations. And whenever we identify a symptom in the query, for example, knee pain, we look it up in the knowledge graph. We see what conditions might be relevant for this symptom. And this condition becomes a candidate for the pool of conditions which we later rank together with other conditions, and we provide a ranked list of conditions for the query. So let's briefly talk about the pros and cons of using search results and the knowledge graph. On the knowledge graph side, well, it's extremely medically accurate. We went to great pains to verify everything we have automatically extracted with medical doctors. It has unfortunately imperfect coverage, nothing ever is perfect, and it may lack colloquial terms like nosebleed instead of epistaxis. On the web search side, while it's as plentiful, as voluminous as things could possibly be, there is content bias, which is, well, you know, the search results or the documents you find online are not entirely accurate 100% of the time. Sometimes they're good treatments, sometimes they're not good treatments. They're sometimes difficult to interpret, and there is cyberchondria. Just curious, how many people here know what cyberchondria is? One, two. Okay, now we will all learn something. And cyberchondria happens when you come to a search engine complaining about benign headache, and in 5 minutes you think you're dying from brain cancer. The reason it happens is, and cyberchondria is a portmanteau of two words, cyber, for obvious reasons, and chondria for hypochondria. And it happens because you come with headache and you see brain cancer mentioned somewhere on the page. I must be dying from brain cancer now. The next 5 hours you spend on researching brain cancer, okay? And let's see what this causes search engines to learn. So let's take a query, leg pain in children. It's a benign query, and if you search for leg pain in children, we'll show you a careful search. It's not my clicker, so I need to learn how to use it. And we show here a list of conditions which are suitable for leg pain in children. However, it's Google, right? We give you query formulation suggestions. If you type space after this query, the first suggestion is leg pain in children, cancer. Why we learn it? Because concerned parents go to research about leg pain in children, they see cancer mentioned somewhere, and they think their child has it. In the next 5 hours, they click on cancer. If you think it's only a problem which affects Google, no. And if you search for leg pain in children on Bing, the first suggestion is slightly different, just slightly. Leg pain in children with leukemia. Bing users are not much different. What can we do to alleviate this problem? Well, a couple of things we do. Users come to us searching for headache, and the first question they want to answer is this scary? Am I dying now? And we want to tell them, no. And two things we are doing in this respect. First, whenever appropriate, we tell them, you know what, headache might not be due to an underlying disease. We call it the calm down card, which we show here. We tell them, you know, it might be due to too much exercise or stress, or you just didn't take enough water. The other thing we are doing is, whenever we have a single symptom query, a query containing just one symptom, exactly one, we ask doctors to exactly enumerate the list of medical conditions in the appropriate order of prevalence for this symptom. It's a luxury we only rarely have, because in many cases users mention 2, 3 or more symptoms. In those cases, as I said, it is impossible to anticipate ahead of time. That's why we use machine learning to process them in real time. In those cases where we have single symptoms, we just have doctors enumerate this exact list of conditions in the correct order of prevalence. If you search for headache, you will not find brain cancer anytime in the top 5 conditions. So we are trying to actively alleviate hypochondria and not to unnecessarily promote scariness and user concern. We use real doctors, real MDs for evaluating our systems. The key metric we're using today is the following question. We ask doctors, given the set of conditions we would like to show users, would you be comfortable showing those conditions to your patients, given the presentation of symptoms in the query? You can use multiple other metrics. You can ask doctors about the usefulness of individual conditions, or the scariness of those conditions, or the conditions we missed. But the key overall metric is, would you be comfortable showing this set of conditions to users? And it's about 90% for US English, and it's 94% for Brazilian Portuguese. And one of the first changes we have made when we launched symptom search, one of the first improvements was to help users understand why we are showing the conditions we show. And that's what a good doctor would do for them, right? Here we again use the knowledge graph, and we leverage it to know which conditions are explained or can come with which symptoms. And whenever we identify symptoms in the query, we highlight those in the description of the conditions to help user understand, here I see in boldface the symptoms which often come with this condition, and here's what I have, that's why I see this. And interestingly, we saw an non-trivial jump in the user satisfaction metric after we launched this. So now let me switch gears to something else we've been doing. And here we're actually trying to keep users not only healthier, but also safer. The study I'm showing here was published less than a year ago by a bunch of professors at Stanford and other universities. What they've done is they sent queries like this. I was raped, I was abused to Google, Cortana, Samsung Guess, and Siri, and the results were pretty bad. Google back then served generic search results. One of the other contenders didn't understand what the query was about, yet another made inappropriate jokes. It was pretty bad. And there was a lot of public outcry that tech companies should be able to do better on this front, and we did. So we built a machine learning classifier to identify queries like this. I was raped, I was abused. Just to give an idea, every year there are 300,000 cases of sexual abuse just in the United States, 0.1% of the population. And it's an actual need we need to solve. So whenever we identify such queries, today we show users this 1-800 number. They can call 24/7 or they can check 24/7 to get help. We're also working on suicide. Now, suicide is interesting. For years, when you would search Google for how do I kill myself, you would get this screen with a 1-800 number. However, the reason this triggering functionality existed is because somebody wrote a whitelist of queries for which we would trigger. As a result, Google's been Google. When you search for how do I kill myself, Google gives you a query formulation suggestions, right? The first query it would suggest how do I kill myself painlessly and instantly. And if you search for those, you'll get advice step by step how to kill yourself. And that's obviously not something we would like to promote, right? So again, we developed a machine learning classifier that today recognizes suicidal intent queries in real time, and in as many cases as we can, we point users to help. And just to conclude in time, because I want to leave a couple of minutes for questions, 85 to 95% of the US population, probably worldwide similar numbers, of people come to search engines to get answers for their health concerns. 5% of all Google queries are about health, 1% are about symptoms. It's a huge stream of data going our way. Many users need us, and we are there to help them. We use machine learning for many things. We use machine learning to build query classifiers to determine when we should show simple search experience. We use machine learning to learn to rank the conditions, and maybe one day we'll learn to cure. We use a health knowledge graph to get a lot of information about diseases in a structured form. We learn relations which connect symptoms and conditions and treatments, and we use the information to rank conditions better. And finally, we use doctors for evaluation. We use real MDs, some of whom who work with Google, some of whom who work externally, and they help us develop better algorithms, and they evaluate our stuff. I'll probably skip the future research direction. One thing I wanted to mention is this year I'm serving as the program chair for the WWW conference. It's a top academic conference in the field of the World Wide Web. And one of the changes we have made this year was to introduce a new track on computational health, where we wanted to create a new venue where doctors and computer scientists can meet and talk and create new treatments and technologies. If you're interested, the conference is taking place in the first week of April. Thank you very much.
Questions?
We have a question in the back?
Yeah. So you use findings from people's searches to inform health applications. What's like the privacy around the data?
Thank you very much. It's a very important question. We take user privacy very, very seriously. And today, the experience you get on symptom search is exactly the same experience I would get when two people search for the same symptoms. They would get exactly the same answer. So we don't use prior searches of the individual to inform any solutions. We are thinking about this, but we will have to go very, very carefully. And over the last year, I made many new legal friends, and they tell me, whenever you want to do something like this, even remotely resembling it, we'll have to ask users for explicit consent. We are thinking about this, but we'll always use privacy at the top. We'll always ask the user first if they want us to give the information in ways which are beneficial to them, and only then.
So this is a little sensitive question. How do you plan to avoid the conflict from Google generating revenues from the names that of the pharmaceutical companies, right, which has the end product. In terms of providing results based on merit versus results based on revenue to Google.
And there is no revenue involved in what I showed you. All I want to do is to keep our users safe and have their health queries answered. The information we show is of highest possible medical quality, so the results we show have been verified by Mayo Clinic. The treatments we show have been obtained from the medical community and underwritten by the medical authorities. The side effects of drug we show will come from the FDA or single authority. So there is no money involved here. We don't prioritize based on any commercial interest.
Questions? The backbone of all this is a knowledge graph. Who's building this knowledge graph? I mean, there's just too much there. Are you doing this by hand?
And in a way, yes. So we built the knowledge graph internally over a couple of years of investment. The way we did so was to first launch a very large information extraction task over the internet, and we extracted a large number of facts, different relations between symptoms, conditions, and treatments. And then we had doctors verify every single fact for accuracy and every single missing fact for whether it's missing.
So can you share like how big is, how many facts you have? Because this seems like an intractable problem. So then verify all the facts in a knowledge graph that you scoured from the web. Do I really want to believe that?
And I'll be happy to talk to you about knowledge graph construction afterwards because I spent my first... In the medical field, we haven't released the numbers, but it's a few thousand conditions plus whatever treatments and symptoms are there.
Thank you.
One last question. So is the knowledge graph, sorry, is the knowledge graph open?
The knowledge graph itself is open to some extent because the way knowledge graph was constructed was came to Google with the Freebase acquisition. It became available through Freebase, later it was moved to Wikidata. The health knowledge graph is not available today.
Thank you. Fascinating talk.